Is it because it's the Europa League?
It's boring, isn't it? I mean, there's, but I mean, we're comfortable. We're comfortable, aren't we? We are comfortable. It's good. But they're absolutely rubbish. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, comment here from a guy John saying, how are they even a football team playing at this level?
They've got a bit better in the last 20 minutes of the first half. They've got a bit better. They were doing a bit more, but I mean, I think they gave us a lot too much respect at first. But then they're not good. They're not good enough, mate. It's like playing a non-league team, isn't it? Really.
What, Sutton, Lincoln, or something?
Yeah, it's like playing one of them. It's just.
We all know what happened with Lincoln and Sutton, isn't it?
You struggled against them.
Yeah, cool. Apparently we did. Yeah, we beat Sutton 2 and we beat Lincoln 5-0.
I need to ask you though, Ty, are you worried at all? We know in the past that you've blamed defeats on water, rain. Have you been worried about? Have you worried about the cold weather? The snow, could that affect your Arsenal boys out there today?
I'm worried that we're not going to score 100, but we still have hope. So, you know,
what for you, Claude, is a good result out here in terms of scoreline? As you say, you're playing a team that would they even be in League One in our leagues?
I think we're in a no-win situation really, because no matter how many goals we score, you're not going to give us much credit.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome. Sorry, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name, mate?
My name's Igal Ibrahim.
That's a long name. I'm going to call you Ibrahim. What would you like to say this
call
evening?
Me Omar. That's my middle name.
Sorry?
Oh, my middle name's Omar. Just call me
Omar. Sweet, not a problem. You an Arsenal fan?
Of course. I was actually at the game a few weeks ago against Crystal Palace. My first Arsenal game I ever went to.
All right.
Great.
Omar.
Yeah, and what are you thinking about? What's on your mind this evening? What do you want to say?
Do you still have Ty and Claude with you?
Yeah, we're all right. We're here. Omar, you're right.
Okay, perfect. I had a question for all three of you guys. I already know your views and how you guys feel about Arsenal, but I want to ask you a more in-depth question.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, recently Arsene Wenger has been experimenting for the defensive midfield position in the Europa League and FA Cup matches.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't want to do that in the Premier League yet. But why doesn't he just put Saeed Kolasinac in the midfield and see what he does? Because he's a strong gentleman. He knows what he's doing when it comes to going forward and defensive roles. Yes, he can be a liability because he's not as fast as other players, and that is not his most comfortable position. But he's played there before in Schalke. I've done my research, and it's just very uncomfortable to see him trying to experiment with other players when he has this guy he just signed and he's wasting him on the bench.
So, Ty, what do you say to that?
Well, it's interesting. I think with Siad, I don't know. I can say what the manager thinks, and the manager says that at the moment, from what he said to me, he prefers Ainsley to Siad at the moment.
How about yourself, Claude?
Okay.
It's an interesting one. I mean, he could play in that position if he's played there for Schalke, but I don't watch much German football. You say he's played there for Schalke, yeah?
Yes, he has. When he was coming up, he started off as a center back. They moved him into the midfield, and then his more natural position that they found was at left back.
Right.
Wing back.
It'd be interesting to see. It would be a good idea, but I'd rather have a more natural player in that position. That we went out and bought a more naturally gifted player to play in that position, rather than putting someone who's normally playing in another position there. If you see what I mean. But it's not a bad thing to experiment. Maybe he could have experimented that tonight. But mind you, having said they wouldn't have learned much tonight, would he? I mean,
no, absolutely. Really do appreciate your call, mate. We've only got 15 minutes.
Terry,
There's many more people coming through.
For you, Terry.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I know you had more questions, but we've got to get. There's so many people that are calling us through. Yeah, thank you very much for your call. We really appreciate it. Celtic Fan TV here says Ty Arson is finished. We'll come on to that in a minute. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
My name's Paddy, mate.
Hello, Paddy. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm alright. I suppose it's a bit of a boring first half, but I suppose we've got to kind of...
We're 2-0 up. We should be happy with that, but I know where you're coming from.
I know Paddy's a gooner. He rings in regularly.
Right, Paddy.
Yeah, Claude.
All right, mate.
Hi, Ty.
All right, Paddy, you're right.
Oh, he said Claude first. You're going to throw another fit.
What? I think he used to do that, not me.
So, any questions for the...
I'm Wenger up, mate.
Huh? Why is that?
I'm Wenger up, mate.
Why is that?
I just thought if he's had his time. I respect your opinion and all that, but I think he's had his time. But I won't support him, but I'll cap him when he goes, which I believe will be at the end of the season, but that's a different conversation.
And if he's there for next season?
It depends what he does in the summer and how that benefits the team. Of course, he's got to bring new recruitment in defence, because today we've been poor defensively again, and we've been caught countless times. And I mean,
not really tested. We're not being really tested today, have we? I mean, it's not a game you can really test us today. We're not in a no-win situation with this game.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say no win.
But I'm saying that whatever we win by, it's not going to make much difference.
I think it would make some difference.
Going into the big games, it's not going to make much difference.
Yeah, Paddy, thanks for your call, mate.
Thank you very much, Paddy. Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Paddy.
Cheers, thank you.
I mean, so you actually... I get where you're coming from, Cole, because it's a shame. If you beat them 5-6-0... you're expected to. If you only manage to get bang 3 goals past them, there will be criticism from the media no matter what, because they're not an amateur team, but they are below championship standard, and your Arsenal Football Club.
It's a sort of a free ride for Arsenal tonight, really.
Criticism from the media, I would not. I won't take much.
I mean, I think
if we win, that's the most important thing, is to win. However we get through, it's what we have to do. So criticism in the club, that's a different thing. But criticism outside the media, I won't take much notice of.
Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
It's Laurent.
Hello, Laurent. How you doing,
Laurent?
You an Arsenal fan?
Yeah, Arsenal fan. Hello, I'm Claude. And
Hello, Laurent. You right?
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about the game. I think it was a poor game, to be honest, and I think Wenger is not doing the right things. I think because we're playing in the Premier League right now, and you've got almost half of your first team players, you know our problem is defensive and our defense midfield. I don't really think we need to go out and buy one. I think we should try to create Xhaka and El Neni to learn how to play that role in the Europa League. So because Mustafi is a leader, a captain, he should know that, if El Neni is going forward too much, tell him, come, sit back, stay here, don't go forward, just stay back. We don't need you. He's not a creator. He doesn't create great passes. You can just play the ball simple. That's what you do. Ozil, Mkhitaryan, players like that, they create football. They play them through balls, them nice balls and that. Yeah. And then you can't do that. So why go forward? What are you bringing to us forward? You're not bringing anything. You might as well learn. And that's the same for Xhaka. You're not bringing anything forward. You don't play them fancy balls in the final third. You play it from the back. So stay there and defend and hold the back four, protect them. And Mustafi should know, as a leader, you should tell them, sit back. Like, that's why I like the legends, because the legends, when they were playing for Arsenal, they would tell Vieira, sit back, because we're getting played out of the park.
Mate, that's really great points. We're going to let these boys answer that, okay, mate? But what a great call.
Thank you very much. Bye.
I do know where he's coming from, but it's a game where you can't really judge it. I mean, it's complacency.
I get that.
He's got a point, but the thing is that this team is far from a legends team.
Of course it is. I want to put the One Football app up on the screen for a minute, and I want to, on the back of this point that's just been made, going to go into the statistics here. They've dominated the ball 66%, but we're all sitting here and we are being a little bit disrespectful of this team. And maybe you haven't. We've referred to them as a pub team. They wouldn't be in League One. Yeah. But they're playing Arsenal, who have got internationals out there. Yes. You've got one of the best players in the Premier League in Ozil on the pitch. Okay. Henrik. You've conceded 6 shots to this team, and 4 of them have been on target. I mean, that's quite a lot of opportunities that you've sacrificed to a team that wouldn't even get into the Premier League. So I understand where this guy's coming from in his point of view that I mean, if they had half an ounce of quality in their team, they could have scored a goal or two tonight.
But also, you've got to realise that there's a bit of complacency because it's so easy for us at the moment.
I don't know if it's.
I think it's creeping into our. That's probably why they're getting more into the game. I think we're switching off as well. I don't know if at the same time.
I don't know if it's complacency.
Because if you watch the first 15 minutes, they couldn't even get out of their own half.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're 2-0 up. We're sitting back a bit.
Yeah.
So we're allowing that to happen.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
That's true.
So,
yeah, of course.
So you can't
that's the thing with statistics. You have to they are factual, but you have to debate them and look at them absolutely.
I don't know if they're complacent. I don't know if we're being complacent. I think it's more because we're thinking, can we cruise through the game? Can we cruise for the game and get a big result? Because if we can, that's what we'll do. That's exactly what we do. Do we want to take them to the cleaners? Yes. Will we take them to the cleaners? Maybe not.
We've got another call coming through here. Hello, welcome to FanPark Live. What's your name?
Barty.
Hello, Barty. Oh, Ray, we've got a couple of minutes until we go off the air. So, what do you support, and what's your point?
I support Arsenal, and I think Wenger out.
You're right, Barty. And why is that?
Because I know he's done a lot for our club and everything, but I don't feel like he's managing it very well. He's going for attackers when we need defenders.
Defenders like who then?
There's one at Tottenham I wouldn't mind at the end of the season.
Toby.
Alderweireld.
Class that, boys.
Anyway, yeah, I know where he's coming from. He's right.
Thank you, Barty.
I mean, he made his point there. I mean, look, I understand where he's coming from. We're going to talk more about this at the end of the game. I think we've had loads of questions sent through. Arsenal legend Kevin Campbell has sent us a few questions in as well.
For that, Kevin.
And you can do that on my Twitter feed, Arsenal Fan TV's Twitter feed. Claude, anybody, send us in some questions for Full Time. The ultimate football fan, which power us. I always forget about them. I always forget. I shouldn't, because they're amazing people that are going to buy us pizza during the next half, aren't they, Claude?
We hope so. I also, if Terry doesn't mind me, I'll answer that question about Celtic. Is that Glasgow Celtic, the greatest team in Europe? I think not. Saying that Arsenal is finished. That's
a supporter of them. Yes.
Oh, a supporter. Well, you know, if I mention Thistle, I'm sure he wouldn't be speaking.
Partick Thistle. Yeah, look, but,
Caledonian Thistle, who knocked out Celtic one time.
Okay, well, what I would say to this, I get your point of view.
Yeah.
If I support, say I'm a Leyton Orient fan, right?
Yes.
My team is down in the doldrums.
Yeah.
But if an Orient fan says Wenger's finished, okay, just because Orient have finished doesn't make that person's opinion on Wenger invalid. Like, it doesn't make it a non-point because their team's not doing very well.
But the thing is, why are you talking? Worry about your own team. It's what I say. Why are you talking? Why don't you worry about your team? If your team...
Because we're fans of football. We want to talk about football.
No, I understand that. But if your
team... If you understand that, you can't question it.
No, if your team are doing better than us, then by all means.
So only teams that are doing better than you can talk about you?
No. When he said he's finished, it's different to say he thinks he should go. If you think he should go, that's fine. When you say he's finished, you're dissing him. If you think he should go, you're not dissing him.
But everyone that wants him to go thinks he's finished. If he weren't finished, they wouldn't want him to go.
No, but there's people that said we want him to. They didn't say he's finished. They said he's taken the club as far as he could go. Fair enough. But when you say he's finished, you're...
Sorry, I'm taking Claude's position here. What are you doing this? But listen, come back and join us again at Full Time, because the second half's about to begin. I know you all want to go and watch that. Send us in your questions. Make sure you download the One Football app. It's going to be interesting at Full Time. Everybody take care. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.
Thank you. See you later. Good luck, Castle.